live on the 1st of May. I made it through April. And I should... Let's get this a little adjusted. There we go. I think that's about right. There we are. I was conflicted about streaming today. Maybe I deserve a break after making it all the way through April, streaming daily except for the 2 days that I was banned. Maybe it's because it's a general strike day and people aren't supposed to work today. And it feels like work running this show. Running the show is pretty fun. Sitting here for 2 hours and doing this, I'm pretty excited about that generally. Hello, Jen. Hello, Braden. Hello, user. Hello, Wendell. But then sitting down and doing all the post work afterwards, that's very grueling labor, which if I don't do, then it'll pile up. And I'll have to do 2 shows worth tomorrow. Can't let that happen. There was 1 week this month where I was quite busy and I didn't get to get through all of that. I didn't get all that work done, and I was 10 shows behind or something, 7, a week's worth, 7 shows behind, something like that. And doing 2 or 3 a day was a lot. So I'm caught up now. I want to keep it that way. Hello, Tarantula. Thank you for the heart me. Good timing on that. But yeah, we are weaker under Trump. I think what made me say that is I saw Kelly, who I'm hoping runs for president in 2028, talking to Pete Hegseth, which is fun because Pete Hegseth accused him of sedition. So these are 2 guys who hate each other a lot. And Kelly was just really clowning on him for the fact that we were using up so many of our munitions that over the last few decades, over the last more recent American history. Oh, by the way, pardon me, I had a terrible allergic reaction right when I woke up this morning to something. I must have hoovered up a dust bunny or something. So forgive me for needing to wipe my nose occasionally. The allergy pills haven't quite started working yet, so I'm a little congested. Anyway, one of the Homeland Security, United States defense things that we've been doing is stockpiling munitions so that if we get into a war with China or somebody, we don't run out of rockets and missiles. We're basically using up all of our rockets and missiles, a bunch of the really important, expensive ones on this war in Iran. And that leaves us less defenseless again, with less of a defense if China attacks us. And they've been shipbuilding at a rate that suggests they're ready to participate in World War III or will be soon. It's the thing I've said about Russia. The reason it was so valuable, such a good deal, such a good use of our money to sorry, tech issues. The reason it was such a good use of our money to send all this money to Ukraine is because it was a really inexpensive way of destroying Russia's military might. It's taken a few years of a war of attrition. Doc Savage says ludicrous. You disagree with me, Doc Savage? Is that what I'm understanding? So for a few $100 billion, we cut Russia's military might in half, which is way less expensive than going to war with them, and now we're way less afraid of going to war with them because a lot of their soldiers have died. A lot of their munitions have been used up. They're out of fuel. Their tanks are destroyed. They're losing aircraft. You say what you want about the war in Ukraine and about the history of the breakup of the USSR and wherever you sit on that, because of course I have people who call into my show who just don't care about the sovereignty of Ukraine. But good morning, Tori. But we've done such a good job disarming Russia by supplying their enemy Ukraine. And we're in this situation now where Iran is disarming us by using up our munitions. And that's bad. Because all right, here we go. We got Rigatoni Pony, who I hope is a Trump supporter, but has to start the show by telling us their age. Rigatoni Pony, how old are you?
Hey, 32.
32. Are you a Trump supporter?
I voted for him, in 24.
Would you vote for him? Well, hypothetically, if there's another election between him and Kamala Harris today, would you vote for him again?
Yeah, 100%.
Why?
I liked his federal income stance. I liked his monetary stance.
Talking about the big beautiful bill. You talking about tax policy?
Yeah, I liked HR 1. Yep, I like the extension and the permanence of the TCJ brackets. I like all that a lot.
Are you of so high an income bracket that you benefit from those policies?
Yeah, I last year I made $213, and then I get a 12% bonus, so it's up there. But So, but I mean, like, even if you end up in the lower brackets, like you're still benefiting from it, just not as much.
No, people in almost every income bracket, almost everybody does not benefit from things like the big beautiful bill. Almost everybody's taxes get worse and their earning power gets reduced.
No, so the federal brackets got dropped back with the TCJA. So even like if you ended up in like the 16% bracket, it got dropped to the 12. Or I'm sorry, 14 to 12, and then 20 to 16 and all that. 24 got dropped, or the 28 got dropped.
Are you actually convinced that the big beautiful bill is a policy that financially benefits most Americans?
Yeah, absolutely, especially with retirees.
That's absurd. How do you feel about how do you feel about the fact that 12 million people who lost their SNAP benefits because of the big beautiful bill?
Oh, when you look at it relatively to what's spent, it's 0.36%, so I don't pay it any attention.
No, but those people are hungry is what I'm asking you about. How do you feel about the fact that those people then had to figure out how to pay for their groceries?
Yeah, it's just a media regurgitation, that's all it is.
What, a media regurgitation?
Yeah, because there's not 12 million people being kicked off.
Donald Trump then during his State of the Union address told the public that he had lifted 12 million people out of poverty, by which he meant he took away their food benefits. He just decided they weren't eligible. He didn't improve their situations. He made their situations worse. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, how much money are they cutting over a 10-year period? Let's just tell this to your viewers real quick. They're cutting $96 billion, right?
The question is, how do you feel about Trump taking away people's food benefits in the big beautiful bill? I don't want to hear about something you like about the bill. I'm asking very specifically how you feel about him doing that to Americans.
You're asking me what I feel like how he's cutting SNAP benefits, and I am telling you that it is fine because, relatively speaking, it is 0.36%.
Of what?
Okay? Of SNAP. Okay, now this is my whole point. How much money are they cutting over a 10-year period? How much money?
On what? The budget? Like, what do you...
Just answer a simple question. How much money did they propose in H.R. 1 to cut over a 10-year period?
You're gonna. I see what you're gonna do here, which is that you're gonna play the game.
Just answer the question, dude. I've answered every question you've asked me.
All right, no,
just answer a simple fucking question.
No, dude, I'm gonna explain the strategy you're using, which is that you're gonna interrogate me about details of the bill until I don't know a number, which you have succeeded at doing. But that doesn't mean
no. I am gonna show you, relatively speaking, that what you are trying to regurgitate is so minimal that it's funny. So again, how much money are they cutting over?
Minimizing the suffering of struggling Americans.
Oh my God, brother, just answer a simple question. How much money are they cutting over a 10-year period? I'll answer it for you, dude. Okay. $96 billion. Okay? So every year they're going to cut $9.6 billion. How much money do we allocate fiscally to these SNAP programs?
Out of the average taxpayer's tax return, $36.
$1.6 trillion fiscally. So what is 9.6 billion?
I don't think that's right. Who told you that?
Look it up. I know you're sitting at a computer.
Because if it's $36 off the average American's tax bill, then that can't be your math.
Look, see, all you're doing is regurgitating media that no metric that they use to quantify it.
What do I Google?
Look it up.
What do I Google?
The amount of money allocated fiscally to SNAP program.
The amount of money allocated fiscally. I don't know how you allocate money not fiscally, but I do this thing where I actually do the Google search term word for word as the guest requests it to show how bad my guests are at Googling.
Do you know what fiscally means?
The amount of money allocated fiscally.
What does fiscally mean?
The amount of money allocated fiscally. What's the next word?
What does fiscally mean?
The amount of money allocated fiscally. What's next?
You can't even fucking ask a question.
We're going to stay on the thing you wanted me to Google. I'm looking it up. What's the search term?
To social programs, buddy.
Okay, you're broadening to social programs. I was just talking about
it will benefits. Tell you in there.
Yes. Okay. I see what you've done. You've moved the goalpost to social programs generally instead of just food programs, which we were talking about. Which yes, we spend a lot of money on welfare, as we should as a developed nation. It's good to do that. I'm sure we disagree.
Now go into there, look at 43B graph, and you can see fucking SNAP, and you can see it broken down.
Which one do I click?
If you want me to be your fucking teacher, I'm gonna charge you $75 an hour, bud.
Okay, bill me.
All right, we're going to send you a fucking invoice.
You're not being very polite. Do you think my audience is going to like you after this call? Like, do you think you're like...
I don't give a fuck if your audience likes me. I'm not up here seeking validation.
Okay, that's unfortunate. You should be nicer to strangers. Anyway, what do you want me to click?
Yes, now go research, dude. And see that what you are spewing and regurgitating is so fucking moronic
dude, I thought
it's
you were
to
so
the point of idiocracy.
Okay, I Googled your search term. Which of these results would you like for me to click?
Yes. Now go look into it and see the breakdown of what we allocate fiscally.
Which of these results would you like for me to click?
Any of them.
The first one. Where do our federal tax dollars go from the Center on Budget can't talk. Center on Budget and Priority.
No shit, because you're flustered because your logic is fucking breaking down faster than a fucking whore in church.
I'm trying to give you the W, buddy. I'm asking what to Google and click. We could have been there
so
already.
Dumb, dude. You guys will sit up here and complain all day long.
They talk about health insurance. Do you want me to like read some of it? What are we doing? Like I'm trying to. You said look it up. We're doing it together. Like what do you want me to do?
Yeah, I want you to find intellect, bro. That's what I want you to do.
Is there intellect on this page? Where do I scroll to?
Clearly, you fucking lack it. That's why you complain on TikTok.
Okay. I Googled your thing. I clicked on the thing that you told me to click on, which is the first thing. Should I start reading? What are we looking at?
And now I'm going to invoice you $150, bro.
You said it was 100. It said it was 75 an hour. I also
I'm
never agreed.
Extra.
I said you can bill me. I'm not going to pay, but you can bill me.
I'm charging you extra for being a simpleton. That's what I'm going to do.
Why did we click on this? What am I supposed to read from this page?
To show you that what you're fucking regurgitating is so moronic to the point that it's funny now.
Probably this. We spend 24% on health insurance, 21% on Social Security, 13% on defense, interest on debt. Like, is this what you wanted to look at?
Yep, exactly what I wanted, man.
Okay, so now that it's on the screen and everybody can see what we're looking at, are you able to read it? Is it legible on your screen?
I can't read, dude. I can't read at all.
I know you can't read. I'm asking if it's legible on your screen.
I cannot read, so stop asking me to read because I can't read.
Okay, I know that reading is hard.
I am illiterate. I am illiterate.
Is this a troll? Like, what are you doing, man? Like.
No, I'm trying to show you, dude.
Okay.
That all you do is regurgitate, bro. If you truly want to fucking learn, okay, this is a quote that you should live by. What you see, you forget. What you hear, you remember. But what you do, you know. So go fucking research and stop being a TikTok simpleton.
So again, I'm trying to get so educated.
And then while you're at it, go get vitamin D and go outside.
I do go outside. There's lots of videos of me doing that on my page.
You're fucking translucent. You're see-through.
Okay, buddy.
Your skin's gray,
I'm not even that white a guy. I'm kind of olive toned because I'm like Eastern European.
No, you are translucent. You're fucking see-through.
What is this called, dude?
Because you sit inside TikTok all day.
You didn't think I was going to do it. You didn't think I was going to Google your search term and click on a thing and get you to try to explain it. Why?
You're not even on the right page, dumbass.
Okay, I clicked on the wrong page then. I asked you which one to click. You said the first one. I clicked the first one. This is the first one. Should I click the second one?
Yes. Now maybe you should end the fucking live. Go research and then come back when you finally found intellect.
I mean, if you want to leave the live and go find what document you want to look at and bring it back,
I will gladly leave. Take care, and go outside, please.
Okay.
You're fucking see-through.
All right, you're gonna leave.
Gray skin, see-through, translucent. Okay. Goodbye.
Okay, so he ran. Off to a good start today. I don't think that guy was prepared for me to Google the thing he told me to Google. I mean, I don't know. And then also he was doing a little bit of that. It's the galloping. What's the word? The thing where you just like inundate the host with information that like they don't have time to answer to because you're just talking too fast to them, and it's like, dude, what are we talking about? You're moving on to the next thing. We were talking about SNAP benefits, and then he asked me how much we spend on social programs, period, and I'm like, we're talking about SNAP benefits. We're talking about people who had their benefits reduced. Why are you asking me how much money the entire U.S. government spends on social programs? Which includes like healthcare and like, you know, Medicaid, like, you know, stuff. We're gonna talk to Phil, who hopefully isn't a Phil bro. I'm so tired of the Phil bros. Phil, how old are you?
I'm 62 from Virginia, Democrat.
Ooh,
and I want to say...
I'll give you 10 seconds to say your piece and get out of here because it is bad for the show. I'm looking for ops.
I feel sorry for you. You should kick these guys and ban them out of the channel when they act that rude.
No, I'm going to let them keep coming back and making a fool of themselves. It's good for the show.
Okay, but thank you.
You have a good day, Phil.
I feel sorry for you.
I appreciate you, Phil. Phil thinks I'm a martyr for what I'm doing. Phil. W's in the chat for Phil. Oh, man. All right, who's here? We hit the ground running today, so I haven't said hi to everybody. Midwest Progressive is here. Will is here. I know Jen was here. She got here first. Diava Talks is here. Good morning, Diava. Diava, is your ban over? I know you're in TikTok jail, aren't you? Hopefully not anymore. Wait, did you write out the prompt on paper? I did. It's like a physical sign. My handwriting is getting so good that people keep thinking it's superimposed, but no, it's literally floating right here next to my head. because it's on like a mic stand. It's kind of the shtick here. I'm working on this weekend. I'm gonna set up. I think the way I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna do a Patreon, and a Patreon level will be that you get a back. It's gonna come back. One sec. Okay, wait. And then it goes away, and then it comes back for a second. Okay, I bumped the interface. My bad. Anyway, I have kept all of the signs. If you wish to own an Oskar Quentin sign, there will be a way to do that very soon. So, yeah, sorry. I have figured out why the interface drops out sometimes. I just bumped into it by accident when I was standing up, but I have generally solved that problem about it happening randomly. I know now what causes that. Yes, Tori is excited about Oskar merch. Say It Louder 420 says, I'm hilarious. My mic doesn't even want to hear my BS. Ooh, Pizza Man, you're going to have to come tell me exactly what you think my BS is. The previous guest couldn't handle it. Yeah, you already got the invite from my mod, so let's talk about it. Please tell me what I'm saying that's BS. I don't like spreading BS. If I'm spreading some BS, please inform me. We can Google together, figure out what I have wrong, and then we'll get on to talking about it. Antiforia says, I need the Oskar Quentin sign. You get a pass for using all caps to say that. Mods don't mute them. Though generally all caps is reserved just for mods to get my attention in the chat. Please no patron paywalls. The show, none of the content I ever produce will ever be behind a paywall. The just to be clear, I'm not about that type of thing. I'm not trying to monetize in that way. I respect artists and creators who do that. It's not what I'm about. I'm never going to put any of my content behind a paywall. I mean, I might put I don't know, like if I get really popular, I might have like a super fan chat or something where you can like contact me easier if you're behind the paywall or something. But there's never going to be a video of mine that you can't see because you didn't pay. That's, I mean, not maybe in my life there will be, but for regarding activism and politics and debating and stuff, no. Maybe when I become a famous musician after this is all over. Discord is the way to do. I gotta get on Discord. I gotta go bother Dean Withers. All the Karens from Trump can't handle the truth. Yeah, dude. It's kind of fun watching them squirm. You know, like we're getting to the point where a lot of people have jumped ship. I've even like gone back and listened to old Dean Withers from like a year ago. And the tone has really changed. The number of people who are still willing to call into a live like this and to defend Trump is reducing every day. And the people who are left behind in that camp are becoming a really, really upset, hateful group of people, which is unsurprising that it's the most hateful and most ignorant who are last to jump ship. But it's really coming down into two categories. And it's like the totally brainwashed Fox News fool. I had a woman call in and tell me all this information about illegal immigrants that she thought was true. And then she said that she didn't trust data when I tried to give her the accurate numbers. And I'm sitting there like, lady, you're telling me data. Like, what are you talking about? Like these like actually brainwashed fools? And then there's like really, really hateful like white nationalists or like, you know, people whose like single voter issue is that they don't want women to have rights or like whatever thing it is. It makes decent content, but I do prefer the better faith conversations. They are just getting rarer and rarer by the day. OG Barry Wild says, are we winning yet? Yeah. Gas was $2.60, $2.80 where I live. And I will just give a shout out to everybody watching and supporting the stream because we don't have a caller, so I can take a moment to do a little bit of a commercial for myself. But I'll talk about gas prices while we do it because I have two jobs and they don't quite make enough money for me to, make it through the month. So I did some delivery driving with my work van, deliver Home Depot goods, that sort of thing, bags of sand, salt for the winter here in Minnesota, stuff like that. So I was making money directly doing delivery driving with a gas guzzling vehicle. And when the war started, I was paying about $2.60, $2.80 a gallon. And then I just yesterday finally saw it above $4. I drove past my normal regular gas station that I use and it's $4.20, which for driving a couple hundred miles in a work van doing deliveries across a day, it's like literally my paycheck, literally what I bring home from a day of like lifting heavy shit, like lifting lumber and bags of salt and shit. Like the Iran war has literally taken $30 or $40 out of my pocket every day because I literally just spend that much more filling the tank on my work van. But I got to thank all of you because that would have been a really big problem for me if I wasn't making a little money streaming. Because it makes a little bit of money. So I do encourage you guys to help it make more money by double tapping away on the screen so we get more viewers, more followers, more callers, all that stuff. Follow me on the other platforms. Links are in my bio. You can get on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube right now, you can hop over to TikTok and see the show live there between 10 and 12 CST. For now, might change next week. Still waiting on word from the boss. But those are free ways to support me. Hop over to Instagram. That's my primary social media. That's where I actually engage and do stuff. If you want want me to see the comments, that's the reliable way. But the Instagram's growing very fast. Those are all free things, and then of course there's like a Venmo link in there and stuff. So anyway, I am not totally screwed by the gas prices because my streaming is working out. Genuine Q, is there a difference in support for war in Ukraine versus Iran? Yeah. I think that Ukraine's... So in the 90s, Ukraine got sovereignty from Russia for giving up their nuclear program because the USSR had broken up and Ukraine had a nuclear program, like a military nuclear program. I'm not just talking about nuclear power. And then Russia like had an accord with them. What is it? The 1994 Budapest Memorandum? Did I get it right? I know somebody in the chat knows that. So basically, Russia made a deal not to invade Ukraine, which they broke more recently than a lot of people remember. Because for a lot of the youngsters I talked to on here, it was like when they were in elementary school back in 2014. Was that the year? Did I get the year right? 12 years ago, they invaded Crimea, which is part of Ukraine. So they broke the memorandum. And that's like a total violation of their sovereignty. Whereas what's going on with Iran, like Iran's a terrible state. Like they are our enemy. They are nefarious. They are up to no good. I'm not going to deny that. Navy Dan, no all caps. I also think your comment is hateful, but if you want to call, please, we can talk about that. Thank you, Diava, for inviting him up to chat. So I think the war in Ukraine is about defending international sovereignty. Like even if you don't particularly like Ukraine or like you have opinions about those politics, like it's 2026, guys. The map's drawn. We really need to respect international sovereignty. We have an administration that isn't. I think that taking Venezuela's oil is a real violation of international sovereignty, and that doesn't get talked about enough, especially when that's one of the reasons that Trump is benefiting personally, directly from the war in Iran. We just talked about gas prices being more expensive. He is selling oil on the global market, and the global market is inflated because of a war that he started. He took over a big gas station, Venezuela, and then he burned another gas station down and closed some roads. He's attacking Iran and closed, and the Strait of Hormuz is closed now. So he's literally pocketing the money. It's going to overseas accounts that like Congress doesn't have control of. The whole thing is a grift. His whole presidency is a grift, and it's so obvious if you understand geopolitics. Like it's plain as day. They're not even hiding it. You just have to understand a little bit of geopolitics and like global markets for it to like make sense. But it's very clear. So anyway. Iran, Ukraine, very different. We're going to talk to Viking Drenger, who I think Ahmad just accepted because I didn't even click it. We're going to ask them how old they are when the little TikTok bubbles stop spinning. How old are you, Viking Drenger?
How's it going? Yeah, it's Viking Drenger here. This is 34.
34. Are you a Trump supporter?
Absolutely not.
I am looking to talk to Trump supporters, so thanks for hopping in, but I do talk to friendlies at the end of the show. But I'm looking for ops. I'm looking for people who disagree. Maybe to discuss the prompt. The prompt is not always what gets discussed. There's really no rules about the prompt. It's just a prompt. But I think we're definitely weaker under Trump. I mean, that's, gas is more expensive for the everyday American. That just makes us weaker. But then also I was talking at the beginning of the stream about the fact that we are using up our munitions in Iran. And that is dangerous for us because if we're going to be in a worse position if we get into a military conflict with China in 5 or 10 years, or, whatever else might happen in global warfare. And there's just no good benefit for us being in this war with Iran. It's not worth it. And I personally think that they've increased the likelihood of us all, of any one of us dying in a terrorist attack by pissing off 90 million Iranians by bombing the shit out of their country. When MAGA was the Tea Party people, when MAGA was the Tea Party people, I'm trying to understand this comment. When MAGA was the Tea Party, people were mad, but now it's okay. Oh yeah, of course. I literally have a video where an ICE agent maces a crowd because somebody in the crowd threw like ice at their vehicle, like snow. And like the ice comes from the left of frame and then they pull to the right of frame and then they mace a few people in the crowd. And I literally in the comment section under that video, there are people defending the people who like did the unaliving at the not the Boston Tea Party, but the Boston Massacre. Like the way in which American values have been flipped on their heads by Republicans. Somehow the party that says, live free or die is now saying fuck around and find out, is now saying you should have stayed home. So yeah. Drenger, however they pronounced it, sorry for getting it wrong, said MAGA wasn't in the 1700s. But what he means is that like the rooted political ideologies, like the group that they're supposed to represent. Obviously, MAGA is a newer concept than that. I'm so silly. I completely forgot that I need my 48 volts for this microphone to work. Maybe I need to get. Well, here's the thing. Linktree in the bio if you want me to have a budget for gear that's specific to this show, because this interface works great for me being a musician, but it's obviously not fantastic for running a TikTok live. I should even just maybe get like a secondary room mic so that for the YouTube VOD that gets posted, I don't lose my audio, because there's like there's always like a there's always like dead air because I can't get audio into the VOD while the interface is crashed. Thought I solved that. Anyway, it's not a Focusrite. It's a Behringer. It's a Euphoria UMC 1820, which I don't even own because a lot of the gear that I have is donated to me. Donated to me by people who wanted me to succeed. The government's trying to mute me. They are. I don't think that they're responsible for my technical difficulties, but the technical difficulties are hopefully over for now. Even though maybe they're not. We'll see. Everybody get double tapping away on the screen. How many likes do we have? We have 9.7K, so it's going to take us no time at all to get over 10K. But I bet if we got to 20K in a hurry, we'd get another caller in here. Because that one kind of started strong. Who thinks that guy's going to come back having actually looked up the thing he was so confident about? What I don't understand about a guest like that is like he said he doesn't care, which like is valid. I don't care either what people think of me on here. But like, does he really think anybody on either side, because I do obviously have watchers who are not on my side in this thing, does he really think anybody watches him have a call like that with me and comes away thinking like, oh man, that guest totally mogged that host, totally crushed him? Like, what did he even mean when he was announcing that he couldn't read? Like that, Mike feels hot and you need water. Sounds like mukbanging lip smack. I am a little dehydrated. If the mic's hot, I can turn the gain down. Yeah, sorry for the bad voice today. In addition to having done a gig until very late last night, I also woke up and had like an immediate terrible allergic reaction. So I was like a dribbling mess 10 minutes before the show started. That's getting better. Midwest Progressive says, when you don't know how to look up a source, I do know right away when the mic cuts out. I hear it click when it happens. It's happened 3 times in 30 minutes. That's very concerning. By the way, I think the issue is static electricity. I think that there's something in this room that is like something's not grounded properly. I thought I had fixed it. I am just going to try, but if it happens one more time, I'm going to restart the live. And we're going to talk to Peyt's Debates. I don't know if he's a friendly or a foe. Peyt, are you a friend or foe?
I am a foe.
How old are you?
I am 21.
Having some tech difficulties today, so totally forgive me if the call gets randomly interrupted.
I'm patient enough to wait. That's fine. I'm patient.
I appreciate that. But
I do have a question for you, since you think that Trump is weaker, and this is why I believe I'm for Trump for right now.
Read
at
the
least.
sign out loud, please.
We are weaker under Trump.
Okay, just want to make sure you'd read the sign, because that's not what I said. I do think Trump is weak, but I haven't said that today.
Well, the reason I'm supporting him for right now is from this stat that's actually shown across the world. So, question. So, what's your view on political violence?
Political violence is bad.
Yeah. So, did you know that your whole entire party alone, by 30%, is okay with what the ideal that it is acceptable for political violence alone, and that actually Trump has actually had conversations about this ideal that it should be, jail time under any oath that would involve life sentences that involves political violence?
I want to make sure I understand your question. You're saying what exactly is the opinion of my party?
Your party alone by 30%, right? Fox News had a big conversation about this last night.
Okay, I'm not really interested in conversations from Fox News because they reclassified themselves as entertainment to avoid litigation for misinformation. So if you want to find the direct source for that quote, we can do that right now together. What do I Google?
Okay, you need to Google percentage exception rate for individuals from the Democratic Party who think...
Exception rate? Like
acceptance.
Acceptance rate. Right.
Acceptance rate for Democrats when it comes to political violence.
Okay. So there's what do you want me to click?
CNN.
Okay.
That's your own the actual source alone actually supports you guys more often.
Okay. I mean, we're looking for support for your claim, but I generally don't like taking polling data directly. All right, sorry. Yeah, I am just kind of muscle through these technical difficulties for now, but this might be a short stream today. Fine. Maybe I'll spend today working on it.
Take your time.
Mostly talking to the audience there. Okay. So I did change a setting. We're gonna try to pad that line for those who know their audio stuff and see if that gets rid of whatever spikes are causing these dropouts.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, so we're on the CNN article, and it says what polls show about Republicans, Democrats, and violence. This is just from the other day. This is 3 days ago. And then there's a picture from the incident that happened at the White House Correspondents' Meeting.
Absolutely disgusting, by the way.
Yeah, real bad. Like I said at the beginning, don't like political violence. 5 years ago, supporters of President Donald Trump violently stormed the U.S. Capitol after he fed them lies about the 2020 election. I'm sure you have some interesting thoughts about that.
Yeah, a lot.
Sorry, I'm not going to read the whole article, but like...
We're waiting to find the stats in here somewhere.
All right, so they have some numbers here. So let's just kind of go through these points. They say there's bipartisan agreement that this is a growing problem, which again, I don't think you really need. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. Like you can look up the incidents of political violence, and they're on the rise. Surely.
Plug in your mic. Is it by like HDMI? Is it by sticky a little bit?
It's like actually a super professional studio setup. There's like a decent interface and a bunch of gear. Here's what I'm going to do, everybody. Just because it's so like early in the stream, I am going to do a full like restart of my computer. So caller, your Peyt's Debates. I'm guess if I'm back live in like 3 minutes, are you going to come right back?
Maybe. If not, you could go to the next person. But I'm just saying, you saw on the front page of that source, it did say the percentage rate.
You're trying to continue the debate. I'm saying that I'm having technical difficulties that are making that impossible. So I'm just going to restart my computer really quick. I think that's.
Well, I don't want to follow you, but I'm going to have to if I'm going to join you.
I mean, you can remember my name if you want. You can follow me and unfollow me. I don't need the
Oskar Quentin.
Yeah. So if everybody watching wants to follow me to get back in, I am going to restart my computer. So it's not going to be the normal 10 seconds. It's going to be like, it's going to be a couple of minutes. It's going to be like 2-3 minutes probably. So everybody follow me. I'll be right back. Obviously, I need to get this solved. Peyt Debates, I'd love to continue the conversation. I do want to look at this with you, but we'll be right back, everybody. Everybody ready to come back? Okay. No worries on the all caps, guys. It's not that big a deal if it's by accident. Anyway, this is just technical difficulties. I'm ending the live. I'll be back live in like 2 minutes. Hopefully we're not going to have as many problems this time. I think I do want a little teeny bit more gain than that. Okay. All right, already seeing people come back in, and if we can get people double tapping away on the screen right away, hopefully we can salvage the show, because to lose the audience 40 minutes in is definitely bad for the success of the stream. How long was I gone? I should have timed that. Maybe I can figure that out using the VOD files, because it's good to know how long it takes for me to do a restart. My computer did do some like slower things during BIOS, so it makes me. I need to reinstall Windows. I haven't reinstalled Windows on this computer in like 2 years. It's totally rotted. I need to get my files off this machine and like do a clean wipe and just start over drivers wise. I also did a couple of things tech wise while I was offline to try to give us better chances here. I unplugged every single thing I don't need. Here, young man. Daryl, no all caps in the chat, but. Just a warning, no big deal. All right, I would love to keep talking about this statistic that this conservative debater who just hopped up wanted to look at. Maybe we can get started just by looking at he had that 30% claim. The percentage blaming rhetoric more than mental illness has increased, which I suppose makes sense. Talking about Kirk's assassination. Said violence. Let's see. Democrats have generally been more likely to connect rhetoric to actual violence. That makes sense to me. But the percentage of Republicans who agree with the statement has risen substantially from 2019, when just 26% agreed. People still tend to see the right's rhetoric as a bigger problem. Okay. I'm sure that's a more common belief on the left. Is this what he was talking about? People increasingly see left-wing violence on par with right-wing. That I would also agree with. I think things are getting worse in general, and the left is catching up with the right. Let's see. I'm gonna go down one font size on this. It's a little too big. The left has closed the gap on views of justified violence. I think this is probably where the guy wanted to get going. I'm glad the viewership has picked right back up. I think most people came right back. I see a lot of the same usernames, and I know my mods are back in here quickly. Peyton didn't want to give me the follow, though, so he's not going to get notified that I'm live. Weaker how, Jerry Garcia. If you disagree with that claim, you can call in and we can discuss it. We did just have a technical difficulty that disrupted the live. So hopefully we can get our previous caller back. Sorry for everybody listening on YouTube. I know in particular, like as a live experience, people are willing to sit through some technical difficulties because it's like, you're watching the car chase. It's live. As YouTube, on YouTube, I'll do what I can to edit that so it was watchable. But I like to avoid doing any editing in the VODs because then people accuse me of dishonesty. Jen says, how do you see the chat when there's a browser on screen for real? Oh, well, for what I'm looking at, I'm on a computer and the chat's in a different window than the stream like video feed, so I don't see it. And then the VOD that I record doesn't have the chat on it, as you know, Jen, because I know you're also a YouTube watcher. But if you ever need me to move it, I can move it wherever you need it. It's just I put it down here at the bottom, and I put this. I like to use the super big font so people can kind of just see what I'm looking at through the font, and I read the important parts out loud. But for the show that gets saved on YouTube, it gets saved in a pretty viewable way. White on dark color, so it's hard to see dark. Dark mode, sir. Oh yeah. Okay, dark mode. I should definitely try that. Kevin Knox 184 is here. I feel like I talked to him the other day. I don't remember which one he was. Oh, did he leave? Did I hit the wrong button? Did I accidentally kick you instead of accept you, Knox 184? Please jump right back in if I did that. I don't know if you left or if I hit the wrong button, because right when I went to click it, you disappeared. You're welcome to come up and talk, probably. John Luke's talking about Melissa Hortman. Yeah, that's oh, I see what's going on. You're saying that the chat text is white over a white article. Is dark mode just like a setting in Chrome? Settings. I wish they had like a toggle button for dark mode so I could theme. Let's see. Mode, device, dark. There we go. Okay, so if I go to dark mode. Oh, see, it doesn't dark mode the articles though. I don't know. I might have to adjust how I handle that. But thanks everybody for getting the stream back alive. There's 80 people watching, which is better than I thought we'd have 5 minutes into a reboot at my non-normal start time. So I appreciate everybody double tapping away on the screen. I appreciate the shares. Thank you, Midwest Progressive, for sharing out the live. But yeah, I'd love to have the previous caller back, or I'd love to have a new caller. John Luke says Tyler Robinson is a Republican, but no one wants to admit that. Yeah. I mean, there is just this thing about like ignoring that, like, the evidence, right? Like I think that in terms of noteworthy like instances of political violence, obviously the attempts on Trump's life are really important to look at. But I think that Trump supporters are so simple that they think about this in such a simple way that they think, oh, somebody tried to assassinate a Republican president, they must be a Democrat. And it's like, well, actually, it is the Republican Party that has been yelling about the Second Amendment for hundreds of years. Tyler Robinson would probably he's the Kirk assassin, right? He's not one of the Trump shooters. But the Trump shooters themselves, there's like a really good chance that these are Republicans who recognize that what Trump is doing is un-American, and they believe that they're exercising their Second Amendment right by trying to assassinate him, which is a very touchy fucking subject, obviously. But again, if you just jump to the assumption that if somebody tries to assassinate Trump, they must be like opposed to his whole party. Well, that's the difference between MAGA and Republicans. That's why my sign always says, it doesn't say it today, but most of my signs feature the word MAGA because I'm talking about Trump supporters, not Republicans. There's a growing swath of Republicans who do not support Trump and the very un-American things that he is doing. Midwest Progressive says it's projection. Moanon seems to agree also. Yeah, lots of agreement in the chat. But let's not get an echo chamber. Let's get a Trump supporter up in here. I'd love to have a conversation with somebody about literally anything, because I'm afraid of no topics. Every now and then I'm not super educated on the topic. Every now and then I get asked a question It so reliably happens where if I get asked a new question and I go, huh, interesting. The moment I start looking up and thinking, they go, gotcha, you don't know anything, host. And I'm like, whoa, dude, like you actually just found one of the things that I don't get asked every day. Like, let me think for a second. Jen, what were you talking about, Jen? Or an Elon supporter. That went hard for some reason. The Elon supporters, I posted some clips from my conversation about Elon Musk, and like it was so interesting seeing a bunch of regulars in my comment section on Instagram, a bunch of names that I know come and complain about the things I say in my Instagram videos, all of a sudden like way angrier because they seem to like Elon Musk even more than they like Trump, some of them anyway. These people really think that he's a science genius. They really think he's a rocket scientist. They really think that he probably has an above average understanding of those certain sorts of things for admittedly running very successful businesses that do those sorts of things. But yeah, the idea of like, this idea that because he's so successful, he has to be the smartest person on the planet just demonstrates how the system is broken in a way that these people don't understand. Because being a good person, being a smart person, being an educated person, being a person who knows what's going on in the world is not all that strongly correlated with your success. Because if you have feelings and you care about the ethics of the things you do, that gets in the way of being very successful. But they don't want to hear that. Curtis says, as a Canadian, Trump is better than Carney, but are any good? I don't know exactly what you mean. And I suppose I don't really worry too much about Carney. I don't think Trump is I don't think that Trump is better than Carney. I disagree with that. Glitch.exe says Trump is not smart and he rich as fuck. Yeah, well, again, it's like he's like I literally said it to the Elon Musk caller when I was talking about Trump. I think it was the same guy where he kept on saying like, well, Trump is so successful. I'm like, he's a lifelong con man. He's a career criminal. I'm not impressed that he has money. Bank robbers have money. Not impressed. Do it while being a good person and I'll be impressed. I thought for much of my life that Bill Gates was doing it while being a good person. He's one of those rich people where I was like, oh man, he's out here like fighting malaria. But no, more information has come out and like, yeah, you know what? I thought the score was like all the other evil billionaires had like a huge score and then Bill Gates was like one tick for their being ethical billionaires. But I seem to have been wrong about Bill Gates. He's up to no good also, implicated in the Epstein files, it seems, possibly. But again, we won't know until Trump releases them. Il Chico Tech EDU. Chico Tech EDU is in the chat, and he says Bill Gates is in the Epstein files, and nothing from the left. The hypocrisy. Your comment doesn't have good grammar. It's hard to understand, but I assume you typed it before I brought up that he seems to be implicated in the Epstein files, because I am also upset about that, because no matter how many times I say it, I'm still going to get accused of thinking it's okay for Democrats to be in the Epstein files when I just want to arrest all the people who've committed crimes against children. But El Chico Tech EDU would starve 99 kids to starve one more, because if he thinks that if a social program feeds 100 kids and one of the kids was technically ineligible and got in and they weren't supposed to, that we should just starve them all. So I don't really value your opinion very much, El Chico Tech EDU, because you've demonstrated how morally reprehensible some of your positions are. We was weaker under Biden. Man, he was working on education too. Julio Alvarado is asking, do I make music? I do, but I really just gave up my social media presence with music to do this instead. And I'm not going to try to show my music on people. I have been having some success performing live in person here in Minneapolis. So the music thing's actually going really good. I'm just not really doing it on social media so much right now. Pemingig1 says, seriously, no such thing as an ethical billionaire. That's kind of the position I'm in now. When I was younger, even Elon Musk was somebody who I admired for what he was doing for technology and the space race and stuff, because I value that kind of stuff. But I just didn't, I was young and naive and hadn't realized that the only way he could have accomplished any of that was by doing something to society that is a net negative. So while I do want, there to be private presence in space, non-government companies going to space, I do want that. Well, I do like electric cars. I think Tesla has been good for the progress of EVs on Earth. The guy's a supervillain though. He's doing some really bad stuff along the way. GetX Jedi says you are weaker under Trump. I disagree. Come talk to me about it. How's all that fraud in Minnesota doing? Hit the button and we'll talk about it. This is a call-in show, so if you want to request to join the show, there's a button on your screen to do that. I know that my mods are going through and inviting some of the people who disagree with me in the chat. I'm not really interested in sitting here and talking to the chat all day, and we had some tech difficulties that ruined what was otherwise a good show so far, but we're back, and we got 150 people watching, and a bunch of them in the chat seem to disagree with me, so I'd really, really love to have a conversation with one of you. My hair looks great. Thank you. I didn't even shower. I showered before I went to a gig last night, and then I woke up and I looked in the mirror and I thought, the hair kind of survived a night's sleep and quite a few drinks in the bar. So no hat today, but thank you for saying the hair looks great. I wish I had more of it. It's receding. It's getting thin on top, but I'm old. I think Elon fried his brain. I do think, he's getting older. He's not like old. He's like in his 50s or something, maybe early 60s. I don't know how old Elon Musk is exactly. But he's definitely, according to his own people, according to people who work at his companies, he's doing a lot of substances that it might be frying his brain. No shower after a gig is crazy. Well, I wasn't screaming on stage. I wasn't like doing like a Green Day concert. I was doing a house band gig. I didn't get sweaty last night. Point is, I showered a little more than 12 hours ago and I got home a little more than 7 hours ago. So relax. I will shower after the show. The show does not have smell-o-vision. Don't worry about it. The Friday morning shows are hard for me just because I have a gig that I do every Thursday night. So I'm always home very late on usually not Thursday night. It's usually Friday morning by the time I get home. Antiphora says, I haven't showered in weeks. Hope you've gone swimming. Austin says, word, I'm a rock drummer, so sweat is part of the show. Yeah, if you're a drummer, not showering after a gig is insane. I actually didn't even play much music last night. I've been offloading responsibilities for that gig to some other players who work on the production team, so I can focus a little bit more on the production stuff and get a break, because running this show is time-consuming. Well, I appreciate you're here early to educate. Yeah. Got to do it. Got to have the consistency. 4.09 in Minnesota. You talking about gas prices? I saw $4.20 last night. $4.20, the highest I've seen it yet. No good. People are talking about the gas prices where they are. Real bad. I was talking about that early in the show, that actually it's running this stream that has really significantly helped me make up for the fact that it really directly affected my income, because I was doing some delivery driving work with my work van. When the war started. So thanks for everybody who supports the link tree in the bio. It makes a real difference to the fact that the gas prices aren't fucking me as hard as they could have been. Diane, thank you so much for sharing the live with everybody you've ever met in your entire life. Look at that chat filling up with shares. That's incredible. Where are we on likes? Over 10K already without me looking, at 145 people watching. But I would really, really love to get a conversation going. If anybody who disagrees with me about anything wants to hit the button on their screen and talk about it, that would be much better. Midwest Progressive says 0.9 higher than yesterday. Yeah, it's getting volatile. It's going up. Let's see. I usually fill up about once every 5 days, and I think it was a huge jump between two tanks. Yeah. It's, 260 to 280 is where it was sitting pretty comfortably when the war started, and now it's, like I said, I saw 420 yesterday, which is. People don't realize it's not just gas prices, I know I'm kind of talking to the echo chamber because we don't have very much opposition in the chat right now, but the gas prices affect everything, right? Like the truck that delivers your groceries to the store, it runs on fuel, and the fuel is more expensive, so the groceries are more expensive. Everything, the lights on in the building where they manufacture the goods, the lights come from the energy infrastructure, the grid is fueled with fuel. So it's. Yeah, it's not always direct, right? It's a different type of fuel we generally use for generating electricity for home production, but it's all part of the same global energy market. So this increasing gas prices is going to fuck us hard on inflation. You're going to have 4% inflation this year. It's going to be bad. And Foxy Roxy says a lot of goods are made from oil. Yeah, there's plenty of stuff that is directly made out of crude oil in some way or another, but that's not even what I'm talking about. You can do something really earthly, like growing plants and making them into products and selling them, but still you got to have the lights on. People drive to that job in cars that run on fuel. There's fuel just all over the supply chain. Forrest Gump says Reddit lib slopaganda. Yeah, you know what? Come quiz me. Come see how much I know. You're getting muted for the entire live because I'd love to have a conversation with you. So please hop up and have a conversation with me. When we made these points under Biden, you didn't care, so why should I? Let's talk about it, dude. You're getting muted for the day. Come, we will discuss. That's an interesting topic. I don't think you know anything about what I said or did during Biden's term because I wasn't making content back then. So we can talk about it, though. We can talk about it. El Chico Tech EDU. Dude, do you want to talk? There's nobody else here. Usually I let other people cut the line because you're on the show a lot, but we can keep talking if you want. El Chico Tech EDU says it will come down like every year. We're in summer season. Everyone knows it goes up this time of year. Dude, you got to use some grammar if you're going to, like, grammar and punctuation if you're going to send messages that long. And El Chico Tech EDU, I'm not interested in trying to read your poorly punctuated messages. I'm just going to mute you for the day because the rule applies to you too, dude. Nobody's here. Nobody's talking to me. Everybody's afraid. So if you want to talk to me, you gotta hit the button. Gotta hit the button and talk to me. Oh, now my internet's out? What's going on? Back live and recording again. Third time is the charm today. We'll see. But if we have any more difficulties, I am going to abort for the day, which is a shame. But those watching on YouTube, you know how long the video is. You saw before you started watching. So is it over? Or will there be more calls? I want there to be more calls. That would make my day. Because we got an hour. You know, we can get a good stream in an hour. Let's see. Mama Avery's already back. Karen's already back. Paming is already back. Please get double tapping away on the screen. Let's get that viewership back because I believe in the stream. I believe that we can have like a really interesting call with somebody about something. I don't actually care what, as long as it's just, you know, relevant to what's happening in America right now, or politics or philosophy or whatever. Every now and then somebody hops up and just asks me like an ethics question that isn't really specific to either side in the politics of this thing. And those are kind of interesting calls. Because I do think that talking about like basic moral philosophy and some of that more particular stuff, like I'm not going to sit here and like give a Phil Bro lecture about exactly like how I feel about Rawlsian ethics or something like that. But they're just like certain things that are like, hey, like, I think that individualistic thinking is bad for policy. I think we should think a little bit more collectivistically. All right. Thanks everybody for coming right back. It's very encouraging for the success of my live streaming career that when I have technical difficulties like this, the show kind of muscles through viewership wise. Back when I started and I had like 5 viewers, if it was curtains, because if I had a tech issue, none of them would come back. That was it. But now you guys want to watch the show so much that you're willing to sit through some of the garbage. But I don't know what the issue is. I think that's going to be I have some spare time this weekend, and today's supposed to be a day of protest where we don't work. So maybe I'm being punished for streaming on a day where we're not supposed to do any work, and there's some work associated with doing the stream. But I think I'm gonna unplug everything in my apartment and start over today. I think that's what's gonna happen. I think all of this stuff that's sitting in front of me, all these PA speakers and the big computer tower up there, and all these different USB devices, I think everything is getting disconnected. It's time. It's time for me to redo. I love Trump making big money. 401k Coyote44, please hit the request box on your screen. Come talk to me about that. Tina, welcome to the show. She says that she's just found me on here. I appreciate you, Tina. I'm glad you're here. Hopefully I can get a caller in so you can see what it's like for me to have a conversation with somebody. Tina says I'm doing a great job, and I don't even know if Tina has seen me have a conversation with a person yet. Maybe they have. But yeah, I have been getting compliments lately on my ability to fill the dead air, which is what's happening right now, because there is a particular skill to being able to sit on a live show and keep it a functional podcast continuously. Because if somebody's listening to this on YouTube, if a video going silent for 10 seconds like drops the viewership on here as a live stream, obviously just has people leave when they're listening on YouTube. I have to edit that out sometimes. So just sitting here and keeping the conversation going and keeping it worth listening to just while we're waiting for a caller is definitely a skill I've been working. Filling dead air is a thing. Neurodivergent Insight says I am the best. I don't think I'm the best. I think I'm decent at this. I think I'm fine in my way. I think I've definitely found my voice. I think I know the type of debater I want to be, because I kind of tried a couple of different strategies, because there's lots of different ways to be a good faith debater. There's not one approach that's the correct one. And part of it is a very social thing. And I kind of have this like almost Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde thing, where the longtime viewers know I am perfectly capable of being very polite to a simpleton that supports Trump, because they just like have been spoon-fed everything from Fox News. Read me a bedtime story, please. I'll get my baritone out for that. 'Twas the night before Christmas. Pull out my voice actor chops. Everybody asks why I don't use my baritone voice for the show, because it'd be like really good to have like, Johnny Cash doing the show. It's work. I can't give up my attention to use a different voice than my speaking voice. People who know my music know I'm like literally a baritone singer. But yeah, it's I can't do it for 2 hours straight, blow my voice out. Watched like 10 lives yesterday, and yeah, you were the best. New to TikTok though, so we shall see. Thank you, Jen. I appreciate you, Jen. Palantir Hater says, whoa. Yeah, do you guys not know that my voice goes really deep? Yeah, I'm not warmed up. I can sing a low B, B2, for those who know their music notes. That's a super deep note. I'd hit it on the piano, but the piano's not rigged to get to TikTok live. I got to figure out tech issues. That's the weekend mission for me at the beginning of this May in 2026. Is by Monday I should figure out why my interface keeps doing that. The issue where the stream freezes and keeps resetting and disconnecting, that I think is on TikTok. I might uninstall the live studio and like start fresh on that. But like I was saying, I do need to like reinstall Windows on this computer. There's probably just a bunch of background processes that are getting in the way. Trump 2028. How unconstitutional, Kit. Please, I'm going to mute you in the chat, which is something I do when I don't have a caller. You're not blocked. You can come back and try again tomorrow. But because I don't have a caller, I'm just going to mute people who disagree with me in the chat and insist that you hit the request button on your screen and come have a conversation with me. Red says that's the Democrats' opinion. Tell me what your opinion is, Red, but do it with your voice instead of with your keyboard. I'd like for you to hit the request button on your screen, join the call, and we can have a conversation about exactly that. Oh man, we do have people flooding in. People who are Trump old don't need to run countries. Yeah. Biden was too old. Trump's too old. Chuck Grassley is 92, and he's one of our senators. One of our senators is 92. Shouldn't be doing anything when you're 92. You should be chilling. All right. I appreciate all the likes coming in. Where are we on likes? 3K. Just where are we? 5 minutes in? Okay, no, I don't appreciate the likes. You guys can do better than that. Get double tapping away on the screen. I gotta grift. I gotta tell you guys to push it on a day like this where tech issues are getting in the way. Jason for Walt says, if by we you mean illegals and terrorists, then yes. I bet you're a very interesting person to talk to, so I'm going to take away your privileges of talking in the chat, and you have to hit the request button on your screen and come have a conversation with me, because that's what the whole show's about, and I don't have a caller right now. If you just want to stay in the chat, you can come back and try again tomorrow. Midwest Progressive says, my dad was in his 70s, and I didn't think he should be VP of his HOA. Yeah, I just, I don't want to be ageist or whatever, but I just think that, you lose your acuity as you get older. You lose your quickness. You lose your ability to multitask. These are things that just happen with cognitive decline in everybody. And I don't think there exists a human being who is sharper at 80 years old than they were at 50 years old. And I mean that genuinely. Even if they did a bunch of learning and took their supplements and all that crap that Joe Rogan sells to apparently make your brain better. Whatever they did. No, I don't think there's a single 80-year-old who's a better leader than they were at 40. Or 50 or whatever. It's a reasonable age. Even a 60-year-old is young by modern American political standards. Jen's talking about term limits, age limits, more youth in general. Absolutely, yeah. Palantir Hater says, do you think the Venn diagram of Manosphere supporters and MAGA supporters is a circle? No. I think that I think the overlap is big, but there's definitely a lot of Trump supporters who aren't in the manosphere. They've been confused in some different way, but there's definitely a manosphere problem. I had an older caller, a 70-year-old, clowning on me, saying that I wouldn't. I basically said I would allow somebody, if somebody gun to my head wanted me to commit a crime of a sex crime against a child. I said no. I think I'd take the bullet. I don't want to find out how hard it is to sleep after doing something like that. I'd rather avoid it entirely. And he was telling me that I wasn't macho enough for that to be the case. He was saying that I'm too, he actually pretty accurately guessed my weight, which is pretty funny. But again, it's what does that have to do with integrity or having a spine? That's just not. These people actually think that bigger muscles means that you're more clever or something, which is. Who's ridiculous. Who's we, says user. We the people. We the people are weaker under Trump. America is weaker under Trump. Palantir Hater says, I know there's a lot of political apathy in that arena too. The underage hypothetical is so weird. Yeah, I mean, the guy, as my Instagram commenters have been pointing out, the guy was just working very, very hard to come up with a hypothetical where he got to touch a child. That was all that guy was about for some reason. It was really trying to come up with a hypothetical where I would do it. But I guess I could have taken a different angle. I mean, I told him to go look at my Instagram page and see that I'm not I'm not a keyboard warrior. I do go outside. I do go face up with these things. But it is just like, he said that, he was like teasing me for me saying that I'm not that afraid of death, that I would like let myself be unalived if it meant like protecting a kid in that way. But again, it's just like, people don't realize how real this shit is. I live in Minneapolis. I'm super afraid of death. I get death threats every day. I really worry about the fact that the federal agents who came here during Metro Surge, and many of them are still here, are people who, I haven't heard a good answer to the question. Show me in the video where Alex Preddy does a thing where if you do that thing, it's acceptable for you to be shot 12 times. Where did he fuck up that badly? Like, we can agree to disagree about whether or not ICE agents are good, or you should yell at them, or he should have been standing in the street or on the sidewalk. Just like, where did he do a thing that means he should have been shot 12 times? With Renee Good, I know what the thing they think it is, though. It's just that they, she hit Jonathan Ross with the car, which I just don't think she did. Most of the camera angles make it look like he didn't get hit by the car. One really like compressed, crunchy, pixelated view from down the block from like hundreds of feet farther away than all the other angles, it kind of looks, because of the compression, like he's in front of the car, but you can tell from the other angles that he's beside it. Like, so they're going to argue about that, and they're going to say that she drove her car at him, and that's why he shot her, which, like, again, if you're right, I get, but you're not, so it isn't. I understand I understand where they're coming from. I just don't understand what exactly it is that Alex Preddy did that got him shot a dozen times. So I worry about accidentally doing something that gets me shot 12 times. And if you think I should stay home to avoid it, that's un-American. No, it's not stay home. It's not fuck around and find out. It's live free or die. And if that means that I'm going to die, then, hang posters of me. MAGA won't request they are all keyboard warriors. A lot of them are. A lot of them are. He was going against what Trump wants. Wisconsinite, you're correct. Obviously, I actually know why they shot him. I do know that. I just mean in terms of like defending law enforcement using force. It's like, where did he do a thing where it's like, yep, he's given up his right to bodily autonomy. That's a person who's such a danger, such an imminent threat to law enforcement that they can be unalived. And the only thing these people have is that he was completely legally carrying a firearm. Second Amendment much? Mostly we spend time talking about violations of our First Amendment when law enforcement attack us for protesting or showing that we're upset with ICE agents that are raiding our neighborhoods. But yeah, got to drag the Second Amendment into that. Trump doesn't believe in the Second Amendment, though. He tried to take guns away from trans people. We are weaker. How? Famous Tundra. If you disagree, if you think we're stronger under Trump, please let me know and hit the request button on your screen and we can have a conversation. We've had a big mess of tech issues today, so the viewership is low and the stream's not super healthy, but I think we're back a lot. I think maybe what I need to do is just be diligent. I need to do a full reset of my computer every time I need to reboot my computer every morning before I start the show, which maybe I should have already been doing out of due diligence. But, I always have like renders going in the background. There's always lots of software open. There's always like a million tabs open. It's a pretty powerful computer I have. Like, it does a lot of stuff, but I should just be more careful to avoid the sort of tech issues we had today. We are laughed at under Trump. Yeah. And the fact that the whole world is laughing at us makes us weaker. Our foreign relations are so much weaker. Our relationship with NATO, like our most important military alliance, bad. Trump is fucking it up by threatening to invade Greenland. Got Canada mad at us, dude. Like, what? Like, we can still recover. Yeah, I agree. Joey says we were laughed at under Biden. Why are we still talking about Biden? Can we just talk about what Trump is doing? Like, my God. There's no request button, says Voluted Spy. Do you want to join Voluted Spy? I think I can find you in here and get you up. Maybe one of my mods will find you faster than I do. Let's see. Are you in my request queue or in my invite queue? I don't actually always know. If you're on a computer, you can't join, by the way. You have to be on a phone. That's something I've learned. But yeah, I don't see you in the invite box, so I think maybe there's a reason why you can't. But in general, everybody should have that request button if they haven't been banned from TikTok Live and if you're on a phone. External screen cap, take the video computer off main rig. That's a worse solution because then you have to connect two computers to each other, and that's even worse in terms of like static electricity and interference type issues. I am impressed with the quality of the local recording. Like this live editor that TikTok uses generally works great, but it has this restarting issue that I've been running into. Jen can't see it. Interesting. There is no requesting button. Bizarre. But I mean, if you say invite me in the chat, I'll go dig through the list. I should be able to click. Maybe Diava is still here and she can help me, or Mama Avery or somebody. Is Diava still here? I don't know. I am actually kind of new at this live streaming thing. Relative to my following, I'm new. Palantir hater. Just because you have the 2A doesn't mean you're able to do whatever you want. Timus, do you think that Alex Preddy deserved to die? I'm going to mute you in the chat. Not because I dislike that opinion all that much, but just because I want to have a conversation with you about it. So I mute people in the chat when they disagree with me to encourage them to join the call. Let's see. So people are saying that they do see the request button. So if you don't see it, it might be a problem with your account. Blue and pink person, screen MAGA. Ba, 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 ba. They are laughing at the left. Oh yeah, a bunch of people who don't like me just entered the chat. If any one of you want to have a conversation with me, this guy's asking about my genitals. If you want to ask me about my genitals, I guess you can hit the request button and do that. I don't know why you're thinking about my genitals. Also, I have like a deep enough voice that like, come on, dude, what do you mean? Are you asking me if I've gone through puberty? Yes. I don't get it, man. It's just a bunch of manosphere bullshit. I'm just weak, bro. It's not because of Trump. All right, Daniel. I'm just going to start muting these people. One of you is going to have a conversation with me, right? Like, is this the conversation? Is this the show? I'm going to sit here for 45 more minutes and tell these people to have a conversation about the things they're saying in the chat, and none of them are going to do it. Is asking about your genitalia reserved for MAGA? They're so concerned with my genitalia. They're so concerned with the genitalia of trans people. They're so concerned with what's in people's pants. It's very weird. I think, like, there are Trump supporters who spend more time thinking about trans people, like trans issues, like trans identity politics, trans genitalia. They think more about that stuff than some fucking trans people who just want to live their lives, right? Like, they want to live in a world where they can go navigate the world and have their gender not be like a huge issue for them. But these Trump supporters just are so obsessed with the concept. Like, makes me wonder what kind of videos they watch late at night. Michael Vick says, we are much stronger with Trump than any Democrat president. Yep. I'm going to mute you to insist that you hit the request button on your screen and come explain yourself, because I think that is a nonsensical claim. But I'm not here to like give really good refutations to stuff I see in the chat. Joey says, why? Because they are making our country a laughingstock. Damien, I've seen this username before, but I don't remember who you are. How old are you, Damien?
I'm 55.
55? You're a Trump supporter?
I'm not. I just wanted to make a quick comment, if it's okay.
Super duper quick, and then get out of here because it's okay. Stream.
I just wanted to say that there was a poll taken, and the South is #1 for transgender porn in the conservative South. So
you said a TikTok no word. You got to say corn instead. But yeah, I'm not surprised. I do think that there's like a fetishization problem where it's like these people are low key. Like I don't even know how to talk about self-pleasuring, whatever I'm supposed to say on TikTok. I don't know the TikTok speak for talking about this issue. But yes, I think they're doing that in private, and then in public they're going out and saying that they hate these people. We're going to talk to Tyrone Markets, who I think this is a new caller. I don't think I've seen this username before. I hope it's a Trump supporter. How old are you?
Yeah, 33.
You support Trump?
Yeah.
What would you like to discuss?
I mean, why are you just so miserable? You want to like talk about Trump? It's kind of boring. Like, I'm making money trading options in the stock market. Maybe you should do something more productive than complain about Trump. Come on.
I'm making money by complaining about Trump.
How? By just like getting gifts on TikTok?
Yeah, I'm so good at it that people just send me money. Linktree in the bio, everybody. Hit me up on Venmo. Make the show better.
Oh, so you just want people to give you money. Okay, gotcha.
Well, I did this for free for a long time, but then when it started making money, I was able to do it more, and now I do it for 2 hours a day and spend a few hours like editing and working on my social medias to keep it growing. So it's pretty exciting. It's going well for me. Oh, man. Thanks for the...
How boring that must be, bro. Come on.
It's not boring at all. This is very exciting. I have lots of fun doing this. If you think it's so boring, why are you here? Why'd you call in?
I did a call. I just clicked on it because I'm on my lunch break. But anyway.
Okay. Why do you support Trump? Why do you support Trump? Why do you support Trump? Okay. All right. Let me guess. W guessed because I kicked him. That's an L, right, for the host. I lost that because... Yeah, I mean, he doesn't give a shit. I could actually like talk about trading options. I bet that guy probably thinks I don't know what options contracts are. I bet that guy probably thinks I don't know how they work and all that stuff. I'd love to actually talk to a Trump supporter about global markets. That'd be interesting. But nope, he just wanted to make monkey noises. Joey _Golem is hopefully a Trump supporter and hopefully actually willing to have a conversation. How old are you?
21.
21. Are you a Trump supporter?
I am, yes.
Okay, Joey, I am just going to kick you and bring you right back. It's because I can already tell the delay between us is too long. Are you going to come right back if I kick you?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, I'm going to kick you, and he's going to be right back. Because as you guys just saw, I immediately saw, I was like, yep, that's like a 5-second delay. That is going to be hard for conversation. It's going to be super duper hard. People are saying all the reasons, all these reasons I'm weak in the chat. I can't even tell if you're like friends being satirical, if you actually think these things. That's the problem, is that you can't like. Oh, perfect. Joey Golem's right back. For the person saying I need to have patience, it's not about me being impatient. It's about the show doing well. Thanks for the hat and mustache. Oh, the gifts are rolling in because the guy was mad that I was making money doing this. Thanks for all the gifts, everybody. Joey Golem, you said you're 21?
Yes, that is what I said. Is it better connection now?
So yeah, you're responding snappy now, and that's much, much better for the show. So why do you support Trump?
Wonderful.
Oh, and before we move on, I am just going to read a message from Will, who sent me $5 on Venmo, to shut up the options trader on his lunch break. Yeah, so I already skipped him before I saw the message. Sorry for the interruption. Why do you like Trump?
Genuinely, I just think he is a objectively better president for the country. Now, are there certain things that he's doing wrong? Sure. I'm not a fucking... Sorry, bad word.
You can curse.
I'm not a...
We got to watch certain TikTok language, but the fuck word's allowed. This is a show for adults.
I'm not no radicalist, I'm not Trump,
Yeah.
kill all liberals. I'm not that guy.
Lately, I've been taking a different approach when the caller starts by saying that, just because I really do want to understand maybe like some of our common ground, because I think that's a better place to start these conversations from. So can you just tell me some of the things that Trump's doing that you don't like?
Sure. Where to begin? Certain things where he's trying to limit trans people and women and LGBTQ rights. I don't completely agree with that.
You don't completely agree with women having rights? We're going to talk about trans people in a second, but you added just women in there, so you're just not you. Oh wait. Sorry, I'm so used to doing this with people who are evil. You're saying you don't agree with Trump on that. My bad. Brain fart. I'm on your team on that, right? Sorry, everybody.
Yes.
Sorry.
You're on my team there.
I'm so used to the moment people say trans or women, I'm like, uh-oh, we got a misogynist. But no, it sounds like you're on the right side of history on that one. You do support women and trans rights.
Yes, I do, to an extent. Now, I'm not out here saying all trans people are bad, all trans people are school shooters. I'm not one of those guys.
Yeah, because those are nonsense claims. Okay, so not good to trans people and women. Which, by the way, if the category trans women and women is most people, that's slightly more than half of the people. Even if it's just women, yes. I think there's slightly more women than there are men. So anyway, that's already most people. He's so you don't like
right.
It's not good for the rights of most people. That's where we're starting.
However,
okay.
I do think that it should be kept out of schools. It shouldn't be something encouraged in schools or taught in schools. That is something that needs to be kept out of education. And I think that's just logical. No, trans ideologies and rights.
Yeah, I don't think that that's logical at all, because like 1% of people, something like that, slightly less than 1% of people are trans or otherwise don't like fit the binaries, cis males and cis females. Why do you think that children shouldn't learn about a group of people that they might be a member of?
It's not that I don't think they should learn about it. I don't think they should learn about it so young, because younger minds...
How young are we teaching about trans people?
I mean, I've heard of it being talked about in middle schools, and I think that's just absurd.
Well, that's when people go through puberty, so that's a pretty good time, I think. That's when we also...
No, I understand that, but I also don't think these kids should be transitioning before they're in high school.
We don't transition people who aren't adults.
There's so many parents in our country that are actively transitioning their kids pre-surgeries before they're 18.
Well, no, we use some hormone blockers to delay puberty in such people, because it is really difficult to reverse a lot of gender-affirming care. But what hormone blocking does is it prevents puberty from happening, which allows a person to delay the decision to transition until after they're 18. Is that what you're talking about? Because other than that, we don't do that at all.
That is somewhat what I'm talking about. I just think that until you're 18, you should just let your body be, and once you're 18, you can make that decision. I just don't think it should happen.
I'm going to levy a pretty
pre-18.
serious accusation against you, and I'm just going to try to levy it formally because it's what I genuinely believe. I think that assessment that you shouldn't interfere with what's going on in a person's body until they're 18. I think that that's just how you feel about it, and I don't think you have any good argument for that. So I'm going to let you try. I want you to defend that claim, but is that based on anything other than how you feel about it? Or do you have any idea about the statistics of the people who get this type of care and how likely they are to have a good outcome because of it? Or do you just look at it and not like it?
It's not that I don't like it. I just think before you're 18, your brain's not developed enough to make a decision that important and affecting of your life.
Midwest Progressive just joined the call, so I'll let him talk in a moment, but I do want to respond directly, which is that the reason I asked if this is about your feelings instead of the facts is because I do recognize that, let's say you have a person who's mistaken, say a male person who doesn't want to go through puberty, their parents don't want them to go through puberty because they're pretty sure they're trans, and then later on they decide, okay, we've prevented puberty until they're 18 or whatever. I don't want to be trans, or I don't think I am trans anymore. I don't want to transition. I want to stay in a male body. Then you get off the hormone blockers and you go through puberty, and that is a person who then has to go through puberty later, and that is a detriment to certain things about their body if they care about those things. That's a person who's not going to be as tall. That's a person whose voice isn't going to be as deep. That's a person who's not going to have as much body hair. Traditionally, male characteristics are going to be lessened because they went through puberty later and they had fewer years of those developed things. So there is a detriment to people potentially who are going to then be saddened that they didn't get those things. But the fact of the matter is that when a doctor makes a decision to prescribe hormone blockers to a child to prevent them from going from puberty, the on average outcome for them is a better one. Just so there's risk with every medical intervention of any kind, in the same way that there's risk in going outside in the world because you might get hit by a bus. So you can say that I can start by admitting that such negative outcomes potentially can happen for a person, and that's a bummer, and it is a dilemma. It's a hard decision to make, putting a child on any medication that catastrophically affects their body, whether it's hormone blockers or chemotherapy to fight cancer. But I just only make my decisions based on data, and the data says that the children who we give this gender-affirming care to are literally significantly less likely to unalive themselves because of what they're going through, and I think that's a victory. I'll let Joey respond before I invite Midwest to take the floor.
Let Midwest. My Wi-Fi's lagging again.
Okay.
Actually, I was just coming up to ask him about the unaliving rate of LGBTQIA plus kids before they're 18. So you nailed it. Nailed it as always. So all right, you can kick me.
Goodbye, Midwest. Yeah. So again, Joey, I'll just reiterate in short, which is that the gender-affirming care can potentially have negative outcomes for children and their parents who are wrong about maybe what the path is. It is bad to go on, for most people, to go on hormone blockers and then go through puberty later and then have not end up transitioning. That is a negative, but it's a small negative, whereas this an enormous negative, which is that the allowing children to go through this process reduces their rate of self-unaliving, because it's the demographic for whom self-unaliving is the biggest problem. There's two noteworthy ones. It's people who have traumatic brain injuries, because those are really hard to live with, because you lose some of your personhood, and that's really hard to cope with. Totally separate issue. But the other group is trans individuals, and because they so frequently struggle with that, I think it's really, really important that we have reduced that rate through gender-affirming care in ways that aren't that difficult to reverse, as I explained. Even if you're not going to be quite as tall, you're not going to be quite as hairy, you're not going to have so deep a voice, you're not going to be the star of the football team if you are a male who prevents their puberty from happening until they're an adult. So I just think it's a net win, and I only decide what policies I'm okay with based on data. I don't consider my feelings. I consider my feelings about the goals, like children not self-unaliving. That's great, but whether or not we're accomplishing that well, that's a data question.
That's fair. I won't argue with those statements. I don't disagree with you on those statements. I just guess I feel a little more strongly about it being kept out of schools. But I do support that it's preventing unaliving of self. I do obviously support that. It's a terrible thing that they want.
I love the two things that you said, because it demonstrates that you're missing why what I said is relevant, because you're talking about it not being taught in schools, and I'm talking about what the doctors do with the kids and their families, because the parents and the doctors have to make the decisions for minors. The issue is that if a child...
No, I know. I was just going back. to my original point.
Right.
Sorry to interrupt.
It's no problem. I'm connecting it because you don't see how it's connected, which is that if a child is one such child who's struggling with being trans, they're not going to know how to go about it and how to get that care and talk about it with their parents and talk about it with their doctors and like figure out what to do. But they're potentially not going to be able to do that if nobody educates them on it. It'd be great if the parents would, but the school does. Same reason we have sex education for children in schools. It's just to get them ready for when the time comes in case their parents aren't doing a great job, because it increases the quality of outcomes. The child who might self-unalive because they're struggling with these issues might not get care if the school doesn't teach them about it so that they can bring it up with their parents or doctors. So it's a good thing. It stops children from self-unaliving. And it doesn't make any more children trans, because that's not how becoming trans works.
Fair enough. I don't disagree. I mean,
it's the topic you brought up that you don't want it in schools, and I just laid out why I do want it in schools. So have you changed your mind, or are you just unwilling to debate the topic with me?
It's not that I've changed my mind or I'm unwilling to debate. It's more that I think there's more important things that we should be adding into our curriculums at school before that.
Okay, I mean, we could talk about Trump then, because he's like working to destroy the Department of Education. Like, it doesn't, like, if you want Trump to be president, like, clearly, improving the quality of education in America is not your priority.
Well, I mean, it kind of is. When's the last Democratic president that actually helped our education? Obama ruined it. Biden ruined it.
In what ways did Biden and Obama ruin education?
Increase in cost, and Obama's wife completely ruined.
Very specific, because when you say that Biden and Obama increased cost, like, by doing what? By passing what policy? Costs of what? What are you talking about?
Specifically, costs of universities and such.
I'm not talking
just
about,
through their economic processes.
I'm not talking about universities. I'm talking about primary school, K-12 education, compulsory, mandatory, state-sanctioned education. I'm talking about the Department of Education, which has nothing to do with colleges.
Okay, fine. Department of Education. They haven't done anything good for us in 20 years.
You don't think that the Department of Education...
No, I don't.
Why not?
Common Core education has ruined our education system.
There have been failures in Common Core education. I absolutely agree with you.
The No Child Left Behind has completely ruined our education system.
In what way?
We're raising idiots. It's pretty simple. If you can't fail, you have no reason to try.
Yeah, I think that we need to work hard to make sure that those kids get good educations, and that we shouldn't just like lower the bar so that they're included. But I think that the net effect on education from the Department of Education existing is still a good one, because then instead of allowing politicians to decide how money gets spent in the educational sector, we give that money to a government branch or organization, whatever the title is for it, we give it to a government department, the Department of Education, which is staffed by experts who make better spending decisions about that money so that state programs can run better schools. And if we didn't do that at all, it would become like private. Like, what are you suggesting is that we do instead? Like, I don't really understand. There are failures in every large system. The Department of Education's dropped the ball on lots of stuff. I'm not like a big fan of every decision they've ever made. Come here, Noodle. Sorry, my dog's barking. But again, I think somebody just told you that the Department of Education is bad, because you're not really able to like.
Well, it's not that I think that it's bad. It's just they haven't done beneficial things for our education system in a long time. I mean, I grew up in the education system. I can attest to it. Our schools are terrible. Our public education is awful.
Right, but the solution
doesn't prepare us for
the Department of Education
life.
is trying to make it better, and you're just pointing out some things they've done wrong when you're taking for granted the fact that the entire education system is run by the Department of Education in the public sector. So like the idea to just throw it away instead of like maybe funding it more or like reforming it, which are things that I would support, which would be ways to support the Department of Education so they can do their work better. Republican politicians work against the Department of Education doing the things that are good for children. So you're just saying throw the whole thing away. It's a little bit like if I was feeding
and replace it with something better. Yes.
Like what would you call the thing that you replace it?
You could still call it the Department of Education, but wipe the current board that isn't helping our society. because it's genuinely not. It does not.
I'm going to be straightforward with you, which is that this call is not super great for my live. And the reason for that is because you're not actually making any clear arguments about anything. Wipe the system, make a new one called the Department of Education. I don't think you know enough about the Department of Education to tell me why that's a better idea than just reforming the existing one. I can tell you why I think we should remove police departments and replace them with a new one because of ingrained institutional problems that make policing really problematic. Why being a current police officer shouldn't mean that you're qualified to be a police officer in the better system that people like myself envision. I could have a conversation about that. It's very nuanced, but I don't think you understand enough about what the education system does to really argue this with me in a way that's effective. I don't know what you want. I don't think you know what you want.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so I'm going to move on. Appreciate you, Joey. You're non-combative, and I'm not gonna necessarily fault somebody for just not being the best guest for my show. But I don't know. Go figure out exactly what you want to do with education and call back in, because I'd love to talk about education. I just would love to talk about education with somebody whose ideas about it, I can't even say that you're wrong about what you want because it's not clear to me what you want. We're going to talk to Funny Killer 117, who hopefully is a Trump supporter and who hopefully knows what they want to talk about. Funny Killer 117 is loading. I always try to time it, but it's a different amount of time each time, so I'm going to fill some airtime while I wait for them to connect. Thanks for all the W's in the chat. That was a really calm W, that previous call, because some people have that where they're like, I hate the Department of Education, and then 20 seconds in, they're like, oh no, the host knows about the Department of Education. Lifelong educator, buddy. I've worked in a lot of schools. I miss teaching. Anyway, I guess I am teaching these days. You decided I didn't want to punch down. Yeah, right? Like so many debate hosts. I was talking to Jen about this, who's one of the mods, where it's like so many of the debate hosts would get that guy and it's like, oh, I'm going to get so many W's. I'm going to clown him. I'm going to interview him about how education works. He's not going to know anything. And it's just like, what's the point, man? Like the guy has an opinion that I think is pretty clearly based on his feelings, and he just doesn't understand the subject matter at all to have like a meaningful conversation. All right, so that guy disconnected. We're going to talk to Tyga, Tyga. How old are you, Tyga?
27.
You're a Trump supporter?
Yes.
Why?
Well, I think that Republican politics are better for the country. I mean, I can go into very specific ones if you'd like.
Yeah, pick one. I disagree completely, so I'd love to hear your evidence to the contrary.
So I feel Republicans are specifically better for just on a national platform. I see your sign says we're weaker under Trump.
Do you mean the international platform or what do you mean?
National and international. I feel like we have more camaraderie amongst the citizens when a Republican's in there. There's more patriotism. There's more love for the country. Those are just basic things that some people need to get out of bed. Having a purpose, living and fighting for your country.
I asked for you to specify whether we were talking about how we look on the international stage or domestically, and then you said both and started rambling. Which is it? You said you were going to be specific.
Well, we can go to international if you'd like. We can touch briefly on that, because, again, your sign says we are weaker under Trump. How about this? How about I ask you
by the way, mods, I see the warnings about the guest. I hear you. We're going to see how it goes. So
I'm not banned everywhere. That's a straight up lie.
Okay.
A couple lives.
I think that was hyperbole because I know how to speak English. But anyway, what are we talking about?
Let's do this. So your claim is that we are weaker under Trump. In what ways are we weaker under Trump?
Well, do you want to talk about internationally or domestically? I'm willing to talk about either, but you're having a hard time telling me which we're talking.
Let's do domestically.
Well, you said that there's like this growing patriotism, which I think is nonsense. I think there's a ridiculous amount of like division and strife. Political violence is on the rise. There's mass protests happening everywhere because people are so unhappy. One of my favorite statistics about what's happening in public sentiment is that in December of 2024, people were polled on whether or not they felt that the system of checks and balances in this country was working, and 1/3 of people said no, which isn't all that crazy a statistic because the bottom 20% of any statistic is a bunch of crazy people who don't know what's going on. But when they redid the poll in December of 2025, we found that the statistic had flipped, and about 2/3 of people felt that the system of checks and balances isn't working. I'm in that club. I was in that club the whole time because I recognize the trouble we're getting into by electing a person who doesn't respect the Constitution. So for all of those reasons, all of the things that make America strong, the reason we've lasted this long as a constitutional democratic republic, because 250 years is a pretty good run for a constitutionally founded democratic republic, all of those American values are getting thrown out the fucking window. And you're now in the minority of people who think that that isn't eroding away our checks and balances. And 1/3 of people switching teams on that is a massive demonstration that people in this country are losing faith in their government. And when people in a country lose faith in their government, they fall into fucking civil war. Obviously, we're weaker for those reasons.
Yeah. So when you talk about checks and balances, now when the Supreme Court or a federal judge blocks Biden per se or Obama, do you jump up and down and say, "Thank God, checks and balances is the best thing ever," or do you scream racism, misogyny, sexism?
Nope. I think it's important.
Okay, so.
Couple ways like Biden's student loans, I actually agree with the decision that it's not the president's job to by executive order change how Congress spends money. Unconstitutional. Supreme Court was right. One big one for Biden in 4 years. I don't know what your Obama example is going to be, but I don't really care. Trump does something not just that unconstitutional, but even more flagrantly unconstitutional, like specifically defining the language of the Constitution, because there is no language in the Constitution about student loans. But there sure is language in the Constitution about election policy. There sure is language in the Constitution about the children of undocumented immigrants, as the Supreme Court itself has ruled. So Trump does something that unconstitutional on like a weekly basis, and you're bringing up the student loans thing from Biden, which was like,
no, I didn't bring up the loan. I'm making sure that your energy is matched because you care so much about the checks and balances. That must mean that when your side gets checked, that you will also nod your head and say, "Oh, thank you, Republicans." Thank you, Republicans, for blocking me. I'm making sure.
I'm not a worshiper of the Democratic Party. If you'd watched my show more, you'd probably know that I'm highly critical of the.
Oh, I know. You're probably upset that they're not more left wing. Now, anyways, you brought up
don't
this.
Put words in my mouth. I have problems with how they speak to American people. I have problems with their policy approaches to certain problems. Like, no, I'm in a sensible way. I literally said that I'm critical of the party that you're critical of, and you made up a reason that I would be critical for them that you don't like, which is that I'm even more left wing than them. And I mean, I think in some way,
are you more right wing than them?
Let me finish my sentence, which is that I do think that there are a lot of ways in which I am more liberal than these people. But again, my criticisms are not necessarily levied because I want them to be more left wing. I often think it's just because they're like doing a bad job at being effective politicians, which has nothing to do with where they sit on the political spectrum. So again, don't put words in my mouth.
But the ideology you agree with. You're just not, they're not doing a good enough job messaging, but what they stand for is what you stand for.
When you use a word just, it implies that there's no other reason. You're really trying to reduce my thoughts and feelings on this to like one thing that you can attack. And I'm not going to fall.
I'm not here to attack you. I'm just getting your ideology because this is the first time I've been on the show. I'm not sure what you're doing.
That my use of the word attack there was not aggressive enough for it to derail the conversation in the way that you just caused it to by bringing up the word attack. That wasn't the important thing of what I said. What I said is that you're trying to reduce my opinions about the left, about the political left, elected Democratic officials, to them not being left wing enough. You said the word just. It's you just want this. You just don't. I forget exactly what you said, but again, it's you're trying to pigeonhole me, and I have comprehensive, detailed feelings about a lot of things that a lot of these different politicians. I have different opinions about each one of them because I'm knowledgeable about the things that they have done in their political careers, and I'm just telling you that it is more nuanced what's going on in my head than I think that you think it is based on the way that you are speaking to me.
Okay, sure. Now, if you'd like, we can go to specific policies why I think Trump makes the country stronger.
Sure.
We can go there. So the number one is obviously the border.
What's his border policy?
He's not allowing people to claim asylum. That's the specific policy.
How does that make us stronger?
Because we don't need people that we can't possibly vet to come into the country. And if we need asylum seekers, we can take asylum seekers from countries that actually benefit our country, people that aren't going to be on government assistance, people that can start their own businesses without getting free handouts from the government. All kinds of different people. If you want to talk about this whole refuge,
what is like? I'm an average American. I was born here. I'm working. I'm trying to make it. What indicator that the government measures about quality of life in America, about my economic circumstances, my social circumstances, the crime rates where I live? Which of those things is affected negatively by us accepting asylum seekers?
Well, it depends on which country you take them from. Now, my question for you would be...
I live in Minneapolis. Let's talk about Somali Americans. Why is it good that Trump took away the asylum status of 700 legal resident Somalis that were here under asylum? Of what benefit to me was that?
I mean, there's 100 things I could say. You can go to your park and enjoy it. You can walk down your street and not have, a totally different community that you know nothing about.
I'm from New York. I grew up in Manhattan, and I really miss the number of different languages I used to hear walking down the street. I really miss.
Oh, you miss it?
Yeah, I miss that. Like, I could turn a corner and see a band on the street corner playing a genre of music I've never heard before. That was really exciting. I literally had a moment once where somebody mentioned something about Ethiopian food, and I said, "Wow, that's crazy. We should go get some Ethiopian food." And we literally happened to be standing out front of an Ethiopian restaurant where it was like so and so's Ethiopian, whatever.
Sure.
And I was like, "How great!" And I walked in and had a delicious meal and learned about like Ethiopian food, which I'd never had before. I really missed that about New York, and I love that I live in a city that has, to some extent, it's like much smaller here in the metro area, but like. That cultural diversity is the spice of life, often literally, if you're eating Ethiopian food. So, like, what the fuck are you talking about?
So at what point would be, I'm glad you brought that up. At what point would be too many asylum seekers? At what point in Minneapolis?
I asked a very specific question, which is that Trump took away the asylum status of 700 Somali people who were living here in Minneapolis legally under asylum. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying, why was that good to do? Because I could propose a number like, say, I don't know, 1 billion Somalis, which would probably be too many in Minneapolis. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about specifically what Trump did, which is that he took asylum status away from 700 legal resident Somalis who were here under asylum. Why does my life benefit from him doing that?
Well, first of all, it would save the taxpayer money, considering with all the fraud that was just happening.
Well, these people aren't responsible for the fraud. It's a number of.
Oh yeah. So it's some white lady I heard. I'm sorry.
No. I'm just saying that 700 people is of like a small enough number of people that we just actually happen to know that none of them run daycares, so that's not relevant to what we're talking about. And furthermore, over the course of their lifetime, they are actually disproportionately economically beneficial to the finances of the people who live here at both a state and federal level. Because yes, it is a social program that we accept them in as asylum, but these are people who really desperately want to live a good life and want a little piece of that American dream. Well, so they go and start businesses and pay taxes, and they live a lifetime that pays back to the government.
Totally.
Yeah. So again, net benefit to my economic circumstances. So I ask again, how did I benefit from Trump taking away those people's asylum status? It did really hurt my feelings. I'm really sad for those 700 people.
Well, you're talking about a net benefit. Not everything is about money. Now you might have someone.
And what is it about?
I just told you can enjoy the park.
I enjoy it less, but I enjoy it less because of what he did. I explained that very clearly.
See, that's where you got to really do some self thinking about, your own identity, your own culture, because it's not normal. That's not normal, Oscar, to be excited and or proud to be, replaced. That's not a normal thing. Human beings have. Excuse me.
I know you're racist. I know that's the reason why. I know.
Sure, yeah.
Like we are. I mean, we don't need to flower this up. Like, you're sitting here like advising me to care more about this stuff, and I'm just gonna tell you, I fucking don't, dude. I'm from New York. I literally just explained a whole.
Well, I know you're from New York, but also New York. There's obviously having a whole bunch of changes. A lot of people leave New York, and they want to leave
cultural diversity. You don't. I see that that's where we disagree. So again, I'm just asking you.
Well, no, it's not that I don't like culture. Oscar, if I can finish my sentences, it's not that I don't like cultural diversity. I do. I don't see how Somali culture has any place in the United States. I can see Italian.
Their food,
Oscar, let me finish,
food is so fucking tasty, though. Have you had like Mediterranean food? Somali food is delicious, dude.
Yeah, I've had Mediterranean food. I've had Lebanese food. There's all different kinds of communities that fit in.
Like when a new Somali restaurant opens on the street I live on, I think, sick. I got to try it out. Like, what are you trying to tell me is worse about my life for these 700 people?
Oscar, the point I'm making is it's not about your life is worse. There's other groups of people that we used to bring in under the Cellar Act in 1965, and they changed it. We used to take people based off of their country of origin, because what makes somebody Somali? Are they from, what makes Somalia Somalia? Is it Somalian or just the landmass it's on? Is it just the fact that they're near the ocean, or the culture that those people have in the country?
Somalis are people who are from Somalia. I don't really understand your question.
Correct. So when we bring them in, we're also bringing in what makes Somalia Somalia. Okay, it's not the fact that they're just hanging out in that landmass. They have their own culture.
Those people didn't like what was going on in Somalia because it does suck there. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't, but they're.
So why does it suck? Let's break that down, Oscar. Why does Somalia suck?
We're not going to like have a history lesson on civil war in Africa. My point is that these are people who so agree with you that it sucks there that they wanted to leave. They wanted to seek asylum from it. So they're.
How about the Congo?
We're not talking about the Congo. We're talking about the 700 Somali people that Donald Trump took away the asylum status of. And what I'm saying is that those people so agree with you and me about the conditions in Somalia being bad and would so prefer the conditions in America where they would love to come and start a family and run a business and pay taxes. What the fuck are you talking about, dude?
So you're saying that they'd rather live in a white majority country than live amongst
it's not
themselves?
About skin. I know everything's about skin color for you.
No, not really skin color. The culture, Oscar.
There's Somalia has problems with like civil war and government stability.
Yeah, and Haiti and Ethiopia and Congo.
Yeah. There are a bunch of countries.
El Salvador. Yeah, until recently.
There's also countries where white people live where it's really bad. I don't know if you're aware. There's a war happening in Ukraine right now. Those are white people. But anyway, my point is, all that very bad. Don't like what's going on in Somalia.
But is it the Ukrainian culture? See, the Ukrainians have been coming to the United States for generations. It's not just this war. Does anyone complain about Ukrainian culture? Do they go down and get a rack of kielbasa?
It's racist to complain about Somali people starting a restaurant in their neighborhood. They don't notice a Ukrainian opening a restaurant in their neighborhood. Mm-hmm. They don't bat an eye. This is racism. Are you trying to convince me to be racist?
All right, well, let's pick somebody that's not white. Why doesn't anybody ever have anything to say about, I don't know, a Vietnamese shoe store owner or a South Korean that has a jewelry store? Why doesn't anybody talk about them?
There's a huge Hmong population here in Minneapolis, which is an ethnic group that are from Vietnam but don't have a proper country, like that region of the country. So in addition to Somalis, Hmong individuals in my neighborhood face a lot of those same problems. So the answer to your question is that people do fucking talk about that. It just sounds like there isn't a big Vietnamese population where you live.
So Okay,
also, you talk about it, by the way, because you're the one who brought it up. So
I'm just curious. I don't see MAGA other than China, due to them being a communist country and the intelligence purposes and stuff. I don't see MAGA people, including myself, ever mention Asians. And they're a huge voting bloc in the country. They've been here ever since like 1920. They've been emigrating here. I never hear anybody talk about Asians, South Koreans, Japanese, Vietnamese. We had a war with them, and no one even talks about them. So again, my question is, why doesn't anybody talk about that?
White people are more racist towards black people than they are towards Asians. Correct. Why are you bringing this up?
Have you seen Asians how they treat black people? Have you seen?
No,
have you seen them?
Question, dude. What are you?
You're saying that. Okay, you're saying that white people. Again, I'm just asking you. Why does it have to be Somalis? Why can't the federal government, or let's say Trump? Okay, let's talk about a specific policy. He's bringing in these South Africans. What is wrong with that?
I'm actually doing this thing where I'm like really not going to drop the point because I'm still trying to understand why you think it's going to make my life better that Trump took away asylum status from 700 of my neighbors.
Specifically 700 Somali neighbors. Now, if he took 700 South Afrikaners asylum status away, then you'd be, hey man, what the hell? These people come here and work. They have farms. They integrate perfectly in the culture.
I'd be mad.
They're not looting the treasury.
It doesn't matter to me that they were Somalis. It matters to you because you're racist. I'm saying, we shouldn't take asylum status away from people.
So pretty much your policy, again, I don't want to put any words in your mouth. We should not take asylum status away from people. So if you get here, for however you get here, and you claim asylum, we should never remove those people.
Not without good reason.
Okay, Oscar, are you aware that
I understand the reason why he did that, and you're not able to
I'll tell you why. Because only 20% of asylum applications actually get approved. 80% have
the ones that we're talking about, the 700 of my neighbors that he took away asylum status from, which made them illegal immigrants suddenly in February, which meant that ICE could come detain and assault them and take away their property and separate them from their kids. The people that he did that to were here legally and had been accepted into the asylum program. So again, why was that a good thing for Trump to do?
Well, so they got approved for asylum. They were on their way to the green, because the step after you get approved for asylum, you get a green card. So Trump took their green cards.
Why was it good?
I was telling you the reasons and you cut me off. Because you can enjoy your parks. They're statistically have been looting the treasury. Now I don't know if you don't pay taxes or how much you make. That's for you to that's your own information.
When you say enjoy the parks, are you literally talking about walking through a park and not?
Yeah, I'm talking about. No, not black people, Somalis. See, what you try to do is this. I encourage you to really read up on FBA, Foundation of Black Americans.
What do they do to the parks? You've brought up the parks 3 times. What is it that the Somali Americans are doing to the parks?
Trash them. Don't take care of them. Throw their garbage on the floor. See, Oscar, they're not compatible with our culture.
You're spouting.
No,
racist
it isn't
things.
racism
Listen, you're spouting racist things to a person who's not racist. So if Somalis are disproportionately littering in the parks in my neighborhood, which is literally what you're accusing them of, you need evidence, buddy. I live here. I don't think that's the case.
Okay. Now we can also go to a whole different group of people, which has been here. There's Haitians.
No. What are the Somali? You claim that Somalis are bad for the parks. Let's stick on that for a second. How? Evidence. You seem convinced that they're
because they trash the parks.
Do you live in Minneapolis?
No.
Then what the fuck is your evidence of that?
Because they do it nationwide, anywhere they're at. I'm in Ohio, and the second biggest population is in Columbus. They trash the place. They don't take care of their stuff.
Evidence. I need evidence that they're doing that.
Okay, you want me to type in ABC News where they write an article, Somalis suck at lawn care?
No, I want you to tell me precisely, word for word, exactly what I'm going to type into Google to pull this information up. You said ABC. What's next?
There's not going to be a news article about it because the news would never write something like that.
You said that you would
because it's personal. It's personal anecdotes. I mean, that doesn't count.
Yeah, I know it doesn't count. That's why I'm asking.
Okay, then it doesn't count.
Yeah, I know.
I don't have any evidence. Oscar, there's not going to be.
So you have no evidence that Somalis are trashing the parks.
They would never write a story like that because they're too scared.
Who?
Because they
scared?
Because the ABC News or CNN because they would probably
just said that if you search when you just a moment ago when you said that you can search ABC News, what were you talking about? What am I searching ABC News for?
I didn't say. I said that ABC News or CNN would never write an article about it because the woke mob would be at their doorstep in a second. It's the same reason why the whole cats and dogs things, just because it came out of Trump's mouth, you guys immediately disqualified it all. They have eaten seagulls. They've eaten pets.
That's nonsense. This is misinformation. You don't have evidence of this claim. How did you become convinced that the Somalis are trashing the parks? What happened? Tell me about your anecdotal evidence.
Well, in this past fall, in Columbus, that's the second biggest population after Minneapolis. They were all over the place, and no one wants them there. Literally,
no. I'm asking,
we are a red state.
There was a time when you were young that you didn't believe that Somalis were trashing the parks. You now do. What happened in your life? What happened when you became a person who believes that Somalis are trashing the parks?
I went to an Ohio State football game, and they were all over the neighborhood, Short North, which used to be like a bar district, and they're just hanging out. And again,
hanging out.
Yeah, we're a red state. We don't want them here.
The fucking Somalis are just hanging out. What do we do?
Deport their ass. We don't want them here. You know what Biden did, which is honestly like.
All right, everybody. The time has come.
Cynical.
Kick or keep on the racist guest. He can't explain to me exactly what they did to the park.
Let me ask you this:
have you ever seen a Somali person litter, drop food?
Yeah, they throw their shit all over the place.
Yeah, I don't fucking believe you. I don't believe.
Have you seen Somalia, man? That's the culture.
I live in Minneapolis, dude. I'm pretty familiar with Somalian culture. Get your racist ass out of here, Tyga. I should ban him. That guy's not useful. Not useful at all. Got a lot of kicks. Was there any keeps? I saw one keep. Yeah, and some blocks even. Yeah. I gotta get the Instagram clips. So that's why I keep those people up. We're gonna talk to tactical_mayonnaise. Sick username. Oscar approved. We'll see if the guest is Oscar approved. I actually hope they aren't because I want to get another good call in because we had technical difficulties for the first half of the show. How old are you? Tactical Mayonnaise, are you there? No, Tactical Mayonnaise is not there. That's okay. Maybe technical difficulties. I didn't hear any sound. They connected and I didn't hear any white noise or anything. So I don't know if their mic was not working or wrong device selected or whatever. Barker Guy says Instagram clips, LOL. Yeah. I have to be entertaining for the show to get pushed to people, and part of that is getting clips that do well on Instagram, so that people come and watch the show and see the more serious, productive conversations we have on here sometimes, which is really what it's all about. Tactical Mayonnaise is back. Gonna try again. Ooh, I think this time. Perfect.
Yeah, my Bluetooth was messed up.
No worries. How old are you?
34.
You Trump supporter?
I'm kind of an independent. I was a little bit more on his side, less so now. He seems to be kind of going a little bit crazy. But I've been listening for a hot minute. My wife's a teacher, as far as with the Department of Education, and having to deal with MESA, which is another thing. It's their teachers union here in Michigan, and things are, as far as the Department of Education is going, they're defunding a lot of things, or they're losing funding for a lot of things. This year they had to get rid of, I think it was 47 teachers across District 7, which was a ridiculous culling of...
Yeah, we can agree that, I mean, your wife's an educator. I don't think you and I need to debate at all about the fact that it's bad that we're gutting the education system in this country. But I guess whenever I talk to independents, which I don't usually do on my show, but we are nearing what I consider friendly's hour, and I am willing to take the call just to maybe get one more interesting debate in, because my issue with independents is that separate from the fact that I think you're throwing your vote away until we have a ranked choice voting system if you vote independent. I don't know if you vote independent in the elections, but as an independent, I still think it's your civic duty to recognize the emergency it is that Trump is in the Oval Office. Do you recognize now, given how it's going, that we're our democracy's in danger?
Yeah, what he's doing now seems to be a little bit more on the aggressive side of a little bit too far. I think it's blockading the strait, sure, but when you pull out of the agreement that we had with Iran to not pursue the nuclear devices and all that rigmarole that goes through there on just the basis of what I think is shareholders is starting to be a little bit ridiculous. But at the same time, when he first started,
sorry, I just got to keep us on track, because you are just kind of rambling about some of your feelings about him. There's specifically a question that I asked, which is that it is an emergency that Trump is not yet removed from the Oval Office, that he's damaging our democratic foundation. He is disobeying the Constitution. Never mind any particular policy. You can list some bad things he's doing. You can even list some good things he's doing. But what I'm saying is that regardless of which good things and which bad things are happening, the U.S. president isn't obeying the Constitution, and he currently has control over Congress because there are loyalists in Congress who support him instead of supporting the Constitution. And that's 2 out of 3 of the branches of our government without me even addressing the fact that he appointed 3 of our 9 Supreme Court justices. So we don't even need to talk about the judicial branch. My point is, regardless of the individual policy positions, do you as an independent recognize that it is a fucking emergency that the president of the United States is disobeying the Constitution constantly?
Yeah. That's where a lot of my points are satiated at, is that he's going too far. It's he needs to take a fucking chill pill. It's kind of what I'm kind of getting at. He needs to hold on a second, because as far as I see it as an independent, it's the Republicans go basically directly after your wallet by hiking up prices and causing things to happen that raise prices, kind of like what they're doing with the oil thing right now. Most of the oil baron owners are Republican owned, but when it comes down to the Democratic Party, they just give you a lot of money, which doesn't help either. Okay,
you keep moving on to these you keep moving on to all these specific policy things. Yes or no, Trump should be removed from office for disobeying the Constitution?
Yeah.
Okay, then I am going to move on, because I just don't think we fundamentally disagree about anything that's important, to what I talk about on this show.
I guess so, maybe.
Yeah, if you have something I do want to I don't want to just kick you for that reason. The reason I don't spend a lot of time talking to independents is, again, I just think I wish we had a ranked choice voting system where we could allow a third party to slowly grow in popularity over time, and that's just not going to happen until we have ranked choice. The places where ranked choice has been used have been success stories. So that's really the only thing I'm willing to talk about with independents, is that I agree that being an independent should be a sensible political position, but it isn't, because we don't have ranked choice. So if you're in favor of Trump being removed from office, then I'm going to spend my time on somebody who thinks otherwise.
Yeah, and I also there was a time where I wasn't. I was thinking, okay, he seems to be the best position for best person for the position at this current moment. And it was during the elections, I didn't vote for him because there was still other things that I wasn't 100% set on. But it's when Biden was in, I was sitting there and I'm like, what is going on? I'm just kind of watching as I can see the cognitive decline. and it was like just being propped up, almost kind of like a Weekend at Bernie's kind of situation. And I'm like, all right.
I mean, and that's true of both parties. I'm just gonna say goodbye because I do want to move on here. But I appreciate you calling in. It's the independent conversations are kind of interesting. I just like. We need ranked choice voting. That's like the only thing, which is a policy that I support just in general across the board. Every election should be ranked choice. It's just better. Somebody sent me $5 on Cash App. Ooh, they didn't send me $5. Stay Hydrated sent me $4.20. You know what? Stay hydrated. I'm going to spend that $4.20 in a way that I think that you would approve. TikTok wouldn't approve, so I'm not going to say anything else about that. Let's check on my Venmo really quick. Ooh, Damien actually sent me $5 as well. And he asks, is the guest aware that white men are responsible for the greatest destruction and depravity in human history? Moral bankruptcy is white culture. I think I know which guest he was talking about. Probably the very racist one who is very concerned about my Somali neighbors for some reason. I think we all know the reason, but yeah, I mean, like, again, if we're going to talk about which race is a danger to the planet, it's fucking white people. Which race is a danger to peace the world over, to the education system, to the safety of women and children? It's like generally fucking white people, but I don't think it's a race issue. I think it's a political issue. So yeah, Andrea Cohen says the Electoral College needs to go. Yeah, that system made sense when we were like, there was a time in American history where we moved the ballots on horseback, back in the 1700s, back in the 1800s, and you had to have like a tiered representative democratic system to prevent it from being impossible to count the votes. So we have the Electoral College, and just fucking, it's an unusually long time that we've been following the same constitution. 237 years is an incredible run for a constitution as a foundation of a country, and there's just some things that need updating as time goes on. Like, I don't know, maybe we should let women vote. Yeah, we wrote an amendment about that because we were real sexist when we wrote the Constitution. We got rid of slavery because we were literally enslaving black people when we wrote the Constitution. So like, we get better over time. There's things that need updating, and Electoral College is in there. Midwest Progressive knows a little bit more about history than I do, and he's correcting me that the Electoral College was put into place when the 3/5 clause was in place. Yeah. My point is that these are antiquated policies that were designed like before the way we do things now, and we just got to keep up with the times. I think the First Amendment needs reform. This is a controversial opinion that I have, because I think that the founding fathers would look at social media, if we like zooped them up to the present, got them up to speed on what's going on, and they would immediately say, wait a minute, there's a single digit number of large media conglomerates that are all controlled by people who pledge their allegiance to the same political party, who control the public square, the thing that I'm talking to you on right now, this internet thing, which is privately owned by TikTok, which is why I have to say silly Orwellian newspeak terms like unalive instead of KILL or whatever I have to say, or I have to dodge talking about something that it's legal for me to do that I'm going to spend that $4.20 on. Like, the First Amendment is great, but we're getting fucked by the privatization of the public square. That's glitching again. Good timing on the glitch, because it's past 12 and I should get to editing. I don't know if people can hear me. Hopefully, let's see. And then I sent it. Yeah, because, for those watching on YouTube, because the local recording is working fine, it's a very strange issue I'm having. The live thinks that I don't have internet. But I sure do. I've tested this a bunch. Like, my internet connection is strong. It's the TikTok live studio is like unable to connect for some reason. So I'm going to stop recording and we're going to call the show there, and I'm going to move on with my day. Thanks everybody for watching. Oh, and for those watching on YouTube, because I don't think I can be heard on TikTok, hit up the link tree in my bio. Follow me on the other platforms, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and also Facebook, but I don't think I have the link in there yet. And send me some money if you want to support the show, if you like what I'm doing, because it's very time consuming. Working my ass off over here. Thanks everybody. Have a good day.